Hello wonderful people, my name is Masha, I'm the blonde from Coding Blonde, and I hope you guys are ready to be inspired because I have a very special guest today. Her name is Meral and she is the founder of the Doer Society. She's also the co-founder of Hello Chava, and you might already know her as My Startup Life on Instagram. I'm very excited for you guys to hear Meral's story. Hi Meral, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Really excited to have you on my channel. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So let's jump straight into it. How was your journey? Was it a straight path or did it have some twists and turns? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I really got to where I am today by putting myself out there and taking chances. It was definitely not a straight path. So I started my entrepreneurial endeavors with a dog walking business at 8 years old. And if you fast forward a decade, I co-founded an events and ticketing company during my time at UCLA. And that company did not go too far, but the lessons I learned really did. And by the time I decided to shut that company down, which was towards the end of my junior year, I was more determined than ever to find my way to the startup scene. So I started reaching out to founders and CEOs in the LA area, and I was offering to help them with anything from product to marketing to business development, growth, partnerships, and even coffee delivery, like you name it. I was just trying to get into a startup on the ground floor and work for free. And I was ignored by what felt like hundreds of founders until one day I lucked out. And I say lucked out because that luck only comes with a ton of persistence and hard work. But I did get lucky, and the CEO of one of Mark Cuban's companies called Dust responded to one of my cold LinkedIn in-mails, and the rest was history. I spent the next year working at Dust, where I learned lessons about building companies that I really could have never learned in a classroom. And throughout that year, I made sure that on top of working and successfully completing my senior year at UCLA, I was just networking as much as I possibly could. And that was the year that I met Zach Choi, who is a brilliant McKinsey alum who was still ideating Hello Chava at the time. And he's now one of my co-founders. And when the time came to make a decision on what I was doing with my life, I was almost certain that I was going to start another company of my own until I took a trip to SF, met up with Zach and his co-founder Leonard, and I fell in love with their vision for Hello Chava, and I excitedly came on board. So today I'm a co-founder of Hello Chava, which is a tech startup, and I couldn't be more excited to just roll up my sleeves and hustle hard every day in our quest to make the world a better place.
That's awesome. It really sounds like you had that entrepreneurial spirit from the very beginning, and you're so used to hustling and all that good stuff.
I'm a big fan of entrepreneurship. It just amazes me how one person can build something, like literally with their two hands, someone can go in and build something that changes tens or hundreds or millions or even billions of lives. So I am in love with technology and in love with entrepreneurship.
And along that way of exploring entrepreneurship from all these different angles, what was your decision making process like? How did you decide, okay, so I am doing this, but I want to get here. This is how I get there?
Yeah, so my decision-making process is really all about, I know this might sound a little crazy, but it's a combination of doing what I want, doing what I'm good at, and at some point just going for it and really trusting my gut. So as an example, the biggest and most impactful decision that I've really made to date was the classic college student's dilemma of what do I do with my life? Um, so by that time, I had worked at Dust already and I knew that I loved tech. So I essentially had three choices, which I gave to myself, which were number one, go work for an established tech company to get a brand under my belt. Number two, go work at a small tech startup. Or number three, just go start something of my own. So as we just discussed, I've always been an entrepreneurial spirit ever since I was a little girl. So I was all in on the idea of number three, but everybody thought I was insane, especially considering the fact that I was only 22 years old at the time. So, but for me, when I met my now co-founders, Isaac and Leonard, I knew that it was the right move for me. And I knew I had to trust my gut on this one. So fast forward almost 2 years later to today, and I'm really excited and grateful to say that I really know that I made the right call because building Hello Chava has changed my life in so many ways and really made me into the woman that I am today. And just as a side note, if you're considering a journey in entrepreneurship, the majority of people around you will likely have a different opinion than you. So I would just say stick to the things that you can control, like your work ethic, and always focus on your strengths. The market will tell you if your business is good or not. So test your hypotheses constantly, but don't forget along that journey to just trust your instincts. At least for me, that seems to have worked so far.
Definitely an amazing advice for sure for anyone who's thinking about entrepreneurship. Yeah, people around you are not going to be necessarily encouraging because it's a risky business. But if you push all the way through, it's very rewarding. And along that journey of exploring entrepreneurship and diving into building your own business, were there challenging times and how did they make you stronger?
Yeah, I mean, entrepreneurship is a really challenging journey overall, as you already know, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners already know or have heard. But strangely, I would actually say that despite how difficult or lonely of a journey it can be, my biggest challenge has actually been myself, and particularly overcoming the high standards that I put on myself. I constantly dream big and I constantly push my limits, and though in many ways it works to my advantage, I also spend a lot of time feeling like I'm not good enough, fast enough, I'm not doing enough, et cetera, as a result. And really unproductive and really just not a good loop to get into. But as a perfectionist and an overachiever, it's one that's really easy to get sucked into. But whenever I catch myself feeling this way, feeling overwhelmed or in a state of self-doubt, I do a few things to kind of get back on track. So first, I give myself credit for what I have done. As an overachiever, I think it's so important to just get in the habit of stepping back, putting things into perspective, and realizing like you are doing great, you are doing enough, you're crushing it. Just get some perspective around that so you're not getting overwhelmed. And second, I prioritize. So I often find that my negative feelings actually stem from trying to do too much at once and mentally assigning the same importance to each of those tasks. So I combat these feelings by asking myself the question, which one or two of these things must I get done today? So I really like force rank all of my tasks for the day. And that reminds me to focus my time on the tasks that will have the greatest impact. And it really reminds me that I'm in control of my work, my life, and my attitude around all of it. And finally, third, I just try to talk it out with a trusted source when I'm feeling overwhelmed. A conversation with a friend, a family, team member, or a doer society member. That's my side hustle, female founders community. Just a conversation with a trusted source really always does the trick. Like you don't have to be alone on the journey, even if you feel alone. So yeah, my biggest challenge has always been myself, but I've found a couple of ways to kind of get that all under control.
And what is your superpower?
I would say my superpower is people, in particular networking. I have this ability to get in a room with anybody who I want to meet, which has really served me along my career. And that's really why I actually created Doer Society, because I realized that networking is something that comes so easily to me, and I wanted to scale the effects of having a network of supportive friends, colleagues, and peers. And I really also wanted to share that with other people at scale.
Yeah, networking is so important. I think 2018 is the year of networking for me and learning that skill. So that is definitely an amazing superpower.
Yeah, it's so important, like, because through networking, you build friends, you build mentors, you build advocates, and all of those things are just so incredible for both personal and professional development. So yeah, that's why I feel so passionately. And even as I'm building a tech startup, I decided to start Doer Society because I was like, I might not be where I want to be yet, but every step along the way, everyone has something to share and everyone has something to learn from the people around them. So I just decided, like, throughout my life and my career, I want to continue building these communities and sharing these networks of incredible people, particularly incredible women. So yeah, I love the way you said it. And I just think networking is so important that even though I have close to no time right now, any free time I do have, I like investing it into what I call like scalable mentorship.
That's awesome. Yeah, very, very important. And I love the idea of scalable mentorship. I'm going to explore that further. And what is your next adventure?
Yeah, so first things first, I see my tech startup, Hello Chava, becoming wildly successful. And since we're an early stage startup, this is going to require a few more years of fantastic growth, but we work really hard and have an incredible team and product. So I really believe that we're going to get there. And so that being said, I hope my next adventure isn't for a few more years, but when that time comes, I really hope to just be, like we were just discussing, really empowering others at scale, whether that's through doer society, investing, public speaking, and all of those wonderful things along those lines.
There's so many different opportunities, and it's just sometimes almost overwhelming which ones to pursue. But it's awesome that you have these things kind of on your horizon.
So many amazing things to go do. Sometimes, like, I wish I could just see a flash into 10 years into the future to see what I'm going to be doing. But I guess that's the beauty and the fun of life and entrepreneurship. You really get to create your own path, and it's just fun. I try to remind myself not to stress too much and just to have fun with it because it's really amazing. Like, especially once you decide to embark on the entrepreneurial journey, like, you literally create your future, which is kind of nuts, but really cool.
Definitely really cool. I'm there with you. It's so exciting, so fun, and so nerve-wracking because you're like, wait, is this the right step or is this not?
Yes.
And actually, that leads me perfectly to my next question, which is, what are your recommendations for women who are trying to find their passion and build their own path, just like the way we're talking right now, whether it is in entrepreneurship in the world of, this wonderful world of, oh God, what am I doing? Or in the world of, just career in general. How do you think people should approach this subject?
So I love this question. And I would really say when you don't know what your passion is or what you want to do, you need to try new things. And I would suggest try everything and fail fast and fail often. So I had my period of really discovering what my passion was when I was in college. I tried so many different things from pursuing pre med to acting and singing to working at a juicery, helping start a record label, and even working for a couple of startups. And actually, even starting my own startup while I was in college. So, never in a million years did I think I would find my passion, just given the fact that I was literally all over the place. But through all of this trial and error, I really discovered that my passion and my calling was to become a tech entrepreneur, which was something I never expected in the very beginning. And so, just to clarify, the first step to trying everything is being very realistic with yourself and your situation. So, just really analyzing and seeing, like, are you in a place where you can freely go out and try different things? So, what I mean by that is if you are in a place to do so, like you have the time, you have the resources, then go for it, start experimenting. But if you're not necessarily in a place to just go out and spend all day, every day dreaming and experimenting, still work a job to pay your bills. Like, especially if it's a question of career when you're first getting out of college, I think any first job is good. I think society puts a lot of pressure on us to like go out and have an amazing job, be an investment banker, be a consultant, be this, be that, be working at Google. Like, those are all great, but I would say work any job to pay your bills, learn from that job, and spend nights and weekends trying different things. I also feel like society makes us think that our first job like determines the rest of our life, but that's also really not true. So yeah, just assess your situation, do what you got to do to survive and be independent, but just do a lot of experimenting in whatever form works for you. And just to clarify, by the way, your passions don't have to be related to your work. But assuming that they are, I would suggest a fun thought exercise, which is thinking, what do you like to do when you're not working, if you're not in that dream job just yet? And think about it. What do you like to do? And see if you can build a business around that. So that would be my recommendation.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you separate those things. They don't have to be aligned. And also the point about the first job out of college, I agree. Society puts so much pressure, so much unnecessary pressure on fresh grads to find the perfect job straight away. No, you need to get your foot in the door. You need to get something on your CV. How are you going to find that perfect job otherwise? So
absolutely. And it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of people look at other amazing people who are like 5 or 10 years ahead of them crushing it, and they feel this insane pressure to get there right now, but they forget to factor in like what it took those people to get there. And oftentimes it's like a lot of hustle, a lot of jobs that like aren't the sexiest or the greatest or the most perfect jobs, but it's like so long as you're like constantly making forward progress, like you'll get there. So yeah, absolutely. Like I think people should just be a little kinder to themselves and not put so much pressure, and just realize that putting one foot in front of the other for years and years is a more sustainable and more effective strategy than trying to do it all at once, possibly failing and then getting discouraged.
absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. Well, thank you so, so much for sharing all of that knowledge, all of that experience. That is awesome. I'm very excited to publish this video.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this interview series and I'm just so thankful to be part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so, so much, Meral. That was awesome. You have shared amazing advice, and also your journey is very inspiring. I really hope that the viewers get excited about doing and achieving whatever they want to achieve, finding their passions and building their own journey. So if you guys want to follow Meral's journey, you can do so on Instagram. Her Instagram name is My Startup Life. I will leave an active link below in the description. And also, if you are looking to join the community of entrepreneurial ladies, the Doer Society, I will also leave the link below. And of course, Meral's baby, which is Hello Chava. If you guys are interested in checking them out, the link will also be in the description. So you have 3 links down there. Make sure to scroll there right now and press those to check out all of those resources where you can find Meral and her work. And yeah, also you can follow me on Instagram and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because if you're not getting notifications about amazing videos that come out. So yeah, make sure you press the subscribe button, and you can also go and find me as Coding Blonde on all of the other cool social media. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.